Welcome into the F1 starting grid. I'm Brock Young with the Mike Allen, here to give you the most unique insight into Formula One. We got so much to talk about today, but before we do that, please hit that like button, subscribe to stay informed, share with your friends, family members, anyone who likes racing whatsoever, and please leave a comment down below. Let us know how we're doing, like, dislike, whatever the case may be. It won't hurt our feelings. Well, probably mine, but that's, who cares? On the verge of the French Grand Prix on the circuit of Paul Ricard. It is going to be a 3-week stretch there, Mike. I know you're looking forward to this.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful time. The first time we're going to have 3-week stretch here. But we got some news to get to first, including Pirelli's issue right now with the tires. They came out with a statement earlier in the week that says their study did not found any wear and tear fatigue on their part, but Pirelli did find something as a circumference breaking on the inner sidewall, which can be related to the inner condition of the tire. In other words, it is the both the manufacturers of Red Bull and Aston Martin's fault. In short, I'm not going to read the whole statement, but Max Verstappen basically said kindly that is BS.
Well, how could it be the manufacturer's fault that the tire failed? I don't understand their thought process behind that.
It's just something to try. Probably, I said this last week with Chaz. They probably CYA ain't it themselves, trying to protect themselves as much as possible.
But I mean, they say it's those two manufacturers' fault. Well, what did they do to cause the failure then? To cause the side blowout?
Yeah, they just said it's the circumference break on the inner sidewall, which can be related to the running condition of the tire. That's all they said. They didn't go into detail about it.
But then they laid the blame on the manufacturers that were using their tires.
Pretty much.
That they put them on wrong? I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what.
They probably did so. Let me read the...
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, let me read Max's statement right here for you. The only thing, he said, quote, "The only thing I could say is from our side, the team did everything like they should have done. They followed all the guidelines with tire pressure and stuff. It was nothing to be found there. For sure, we're going on pressures here on this weekend. I'm 100% sure we will. It will probably have something to do with that. What happened in Baku, but it will not also be nice to know if the tire pressure was related to that." In other words, he doesn't know either. He thinks everything on his team did everything right.
Oh, so they're saying they didn't put enough air in the tires?
Possibly.
Mm.
But that's for both Williams and Aston Martin. But he basically also continued saying that he really thought that his team did everything right on that. But
yeah, everybody pointing fingers. It's F1.
It's F1, of course. It's a money sport, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I said before, I think it's just CYA and on Pirelli's part. They think it's... I mean, granted, it was only 2 tires over the weekend, and it's the first we've seen of the tires this season. But it's just, I don't know. It happening on the both side tires that happened like that. Granted, one was hard, the other one was soft. I think there's something to that. I don't know. It's just me, my conspiracy theory inside of me.
Well, you'd think if the tire pressure was too low that they would know that.
Yeah.
Because they said it, both teams said it went out with no warning. It just went out. And you could tell the drivers were driving along oblivious, and all of a sudden they're hitting the wall at 200 miles an hour. So... Of course, Max is pissed because he would have been way out ahead in the points.
Yes, absolutely. And with
Yeah, as it was.
Lewis's
Go ahead.
restart last weekend, I mean, Max would definitely be out there in the head. It was Perez getting in second. If Max got in first, Perez would have been in second. That would have been fantastic for Red Bull right there. So I know why Max is pissed right now. Well, let's go something else about Pirelli. I'm sorry, about Red Bull here. It seems like the issue with the Red Bull Flex Wing that we brought up a couple weeks ago, apparently Mercedes dropped it, dropped their complaint with the FIA and with the stewards, basically because Red Bull came back and started. It's like, okay, you want to complain about our rear wing, we're going to complain about your front wing because it does the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
So,
isn't this part of F1 though? The little back and forth and sniping, and what was it? Last year they were on the old, what was it? PowerPoint? No, Force India, about using the old Mercedes car, and it's always something.
always something.
If you're not ahead, you're looking for reasons why you should be ahead. I think Haas should file a complaint with the FIA that everyone else's cars are faster than theirs.
Hey, it'll make news. Well, on a brighter note here, we got Esteban Ocon signing a 3-year contract extension with Alpine. And it says here on the eve of the French Grand Prix, Ocon has committed to his future with Alpine by signing a 3-year contract that will keep him at the French Formula One team for at least 2024. Their team seat. Yes, I think so. I think they're a good fit. Him and Alpine are a really good fit. CEO's Rossi with Alpine said, "We are very proud to retain Esteban as part of the Alpine family. Since his return to the team in 2020, Esteban has grown in confidence, stature, and delivered the consistent good results and helped develop the car with the team. Despite his young age, he's very experienced in Formula One, and he's a positive trajectory in both his maturity and ability to behind the wheel. He's a strong asset for us now, and we're going forward as we meet the challenges of the new regulations, meaning coming in 2022. I think Alpine and Ocon are a very good fit. I think he's very happy with them. Alpine is very happy with him. So, what do you think about that, Mike?
I think I agree with you. I think it is a good fit. I think he's having success there. They like him. He's a good team member. And I think he's going to be there for a while. Hopefully he can win some races with them. Because I'm kind of liking Alpine now. They're kind of growing on me. I'm not a real big Renault fan because I didn't like the principal. I think he's kind of a dick, but I'm sorry. He's somebody that I don't agree with fundamentally, personality-wise. But I like the fact that they're having a little bit of success.
Yeah, they want to get better from here too. But there was a rumor that Pierre Gasly might move into that seat at the end of the year, replacing Ocon. But I'm glad to see Ocon in there, and hopefully Pierre Gasly could find something there too. I don't know how long Fernando Alonso's contract is with Alpine. I think it's for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think it's a good fit for him. I think this is not going to be the end of people signing new signage coming in, as well as people restructuring. Because honestly, we're going to get here in a minute that even though that Bottas re-signed with Mercedes for another year, there's rumored that he might move to another team because they're not too happy. Mercedes is really rethinking this right now. In fact, you know what? Let's go into that right now if you want to. that Bottas might move back to Williams, like Kimi did
Really?
with Alfa Romeo from Ferrari. Yeah, that it's just a rumor mill right now. I mean, I love
That would
talking
be
about this,
interesting
but
because he had some success with Williams when he drove for them.
oh yeah, I mean, that's where I got to know Bottas. Is I think we're both here in Austin, Texas. He came to one of the malls when he was with Williams. Very nice guy.
Oh
Very
yeah,
nice guy.
great guy.
Um, so nice to see that. In fact, he was, a few years ago, he's quoted as one of the nicest guys in the paddock, in the garage.
Yeah,
Um,
they need to put him in the number one seat though,
yeah,
and I think with the moves that Williams is making, even though they are better than they were last year, but it seems like their cars don't last the race. They need to work on that. But
hmm
they're better than they were last year. Not much, but
not
they are
much.
a bit better.
Um,
Well, you got Russell, barely making it to Q3. I really thought he was going to make it to Q3 this time. I'm gonna stick with that prediction until it happens.
well,
I'm dying that hill with my boy Russell.
well, it's going to be interesting to see too because, well, one, I don't know if you saw this or not, but we talked about this last week. How Haas finished because they finished above Lewis Hamilton in the race in Baku,
Yeah,
and Russell DN. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Russell DNF, and it was
Latifi.
the TV DNF, and Russell finished behind Lewis Hamilton. No, no, Williams. I mean, I'm sorry, Russell did DNF. I want to say
I thought that was Latifi.
Uh,
To the
one of them,
Google.
one of them DNF'd, and the other one was so behind Lewis Hamilton that forced Williams into the number 9 spot in constructors with no points. I guess that's all you finished, but
Well, after you run out of points, then you just kind of it really doesn't matter, to be honest.
it doesn't.
It's just bragging rights. Who's the worst?
But one thing that's said before it's around the rumor mill because Bottas might be moving down to Williams is for George Russell to move up in the seat and have it as him and Hamilton for another year. Now, Mike, you and I are under the impression that Lewis Hamilton will win another championship this year, and that'll be it.
Well, I would have said that was a sure thing a month ago, but now Max is going to give him a run. But if he does win it, which he has a great chance of winning it,
Yeah.
if he does, I think he's done. I think he's going to be satisfied with holding every single record in F1.
Yeah, I think he's going to be finished for the most part. But
if he loses a tight one, he'll be back.
But actually, that leads us to our next story too, is because Lewis Hamilton is not too happy with the 2022 cars being too heavy. This is going to be the largest, heaviest car in F1 history, and I don't have the full story in front of me, but they said that Lewis Hamilton is not happy because he, environmentalist, trying to protect the environment as much as possible. So he's not too happy with adding more stuff, more carbon emissions, and more wear and tear on the car that does harm to the environment than previous years. But there's also go ahead.
Or he could just be nervous that he'll be exposed if everybody's in an equal car, which I don't think it would make that much of a difference. He's a fantastic driver, but
He is.
he's a fantastic driver on top of the fact that he's got a superior machine.
That's just it. A superior machine. Who will have the superior machine the next year, though? Will it be him? Will it be someone else?
Yeah, that's true.
So you made a good point right there. Maybe he's not too happy with the new car because he may not be that competitive. Who knows? But
Or he may be, but everybody's kind of catching up this year, so
Yeah. At the same time, Lewis Hamilton is competitive, though.
He is.
Um,
Now he will. I mean, whether or not he wins an eighth or not, he will go down in history as probably one of the greatest drivers, up there with Fangio, Jackie Stewart, Michael Schumacher. I mean, he's already in that conversation. So
oh yeah.
uh, right now he's just it's like Tom Brady. He could have quit 5 years ago and still been the greatest, but he's just padding his stats at this point. And it would be cool to have that eighth championship, 4 in a row, which has never been done. Eight, which has never been done. I think it's eight. Both him and Schumacher are tied at 7, and the next closest one is 4.
Mm-hmm. I think
So
that's Prost or
Alain Prost and Vettel has 4, I
yeah.
think. And the Williams driver. His name flew out of my head. English guy. I believe. Nicky Lauder's got 4.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a big club there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an elite club. I think Fangio's got 5. That's an elite club. But if he gets 8, which is double the field, that's 8 most poles, most laps led.
Basically, every record there is, he has it.
Pretty much starts.
Now, here's something else here with Lewis Hamilton. There's once again a rumor. This is probably the rumor mill show right now going on, but he's willing to take a pay cut to sign a 2-year deal. But if he wins another championship, he gets double the prize money. And he allegedly also wants to be given a position in Daimler Chrysler's corporate structure. If you can believe all that.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
He's at the point he could make that demand.
And if I'm Daimler Chrysler, I'm like, okay. What do you want to do?
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't agree with a lot of his politics, and I don't have to recognize his greatness as a driver and as a person. He's also a very, he's very philanthropic, and he has a lot of charities, and he's got the charity that we talked about, I think, a couple of shows ago, where he's helping kids that are underprivileged, that don't have the resources to get into racing if they want. And he's definitely turning around and helping others, and that's something to be applauded, even though I don't agree with everything he stands for politically. But again, I don't have to recognize his greatness as a race car driver and as a person, just as a person with integrity and character.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. I think he not only is a great driver, I think I respect him as, if not one of the greats, probably the great. I have to respect that. I'm not a particular fan of his or Mercedes, but I to give him his due. And he is an outstanding driver, and from what I've seen outside looking in, an astounding gentleman at that too. So
they don't make just anybody a knight. You have to have a lot of, he's not a knight because he's a good race car driver. There's a lot of things that go into that, and a lot of people have to go to the Queen and petition for it, and it has to be earned. There's very few racing knights.
Very few.
Yeah.
Oh God, that other British driver was the Sir. It was also
Nigel Mansell, but I think he only had 3. That was the name. It just came to me. But Jim Clark, he's a multiple winner, and his son even raced for a while. I don't know if his son races anymore.
I don't think so. I haven't seen him on the grid anytime soon.
But I thought it was neat that his son used his father's helmet scheme. He's one of the ones that survived through the 50s, 60s, and 70s and then retired. And I think he's still alive. I'm not sure if he is or not. Not Jim Clark. Jim Clark died in a crash. It was a guy.
I'm thinking. I don't know if you're thinking the same thing, but I'm thinking of Jackie Stewart.
Well, Jackie Stewart, yeah, but
He's
he
a
didn't.
sir. He's also been knighted as well.
I'll find him here. Hold on, this is making me angry. Jim Clark, but he died. Who was it? What the hell is that guy's name? Graham Hill. Sorry. Graham Hill and his son.
Yes, I remember him.
Started 176 races, 17 seasons.
At the day, he was the best driver.
So he won 2 with BRM and Lotus, 62 and 68, and his son, his son Damon Hill, won a championship with Williams in 96. So father and son.
Here's the story here that Aston Martin will increase their workforce from 550 people to 800 as they aim to bridge gap to rivals to help with, R&D,
Tire pressure.
tire pressure.
Sorry, is that too soon? That was too soon.
No, not at all. Not at all. But looking at it, I mean, Mercedes itself has about 900 and 950 on their workforce for Formula One and racing. So for Aston Martin to do something similar to that, that's saying that they want to be competitive for years to come.
And I think they will be. I think they will be. I think we're going to start to see more parity. I think the dominance era of Red Bull and Mercedes is coming to an end. I think we're going to see more parity, a little closer.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, especially with McLaren making the strong showing that they are this year, and the cars are going to be more similar. They're really, somebody said it. They're kind of trying to take F1 in the direction of stock car racing, where the driver's the magic, not the car. Which I don't necessarily agree with F1, because half the fun is the technology behind it and who can build a better car. But I mean, especially back in the golden era, back in the 50s and 60s, the cars look so vastly different. It was interesting because none of them look. I mean, now the cars look similar, but not exactly the same. But they had the Terrell Ford had a 6-wheeled car at one point. Because it did make the turns better, and then I think the golden age was the late 70s, early 80s. That's when they had the most diverse looking cars. In the 70s.
Well, I just finished watching this.
Oh, great! That's an excellent documentary.
It is, but whenever they get like in a wreck, and they turn over, you see like the whole bottom is like almost like cardboard. Not like
And
today,
those
man.
cars were very fragile. They were not built to get in wrecks like they are now, for sure.
Mhm.
They were very fragile. The greatest example of that was Gilles Villeneuve's crash, where his car just came apart and they threw him into a fence. You know, and the car just disintegrated.
Mm.
Or Joachim Rindt, when his car disintegrated, they weren't very tough,
No.
for sure. And they exploded a lot.
Certainly for the thrill of victory there. I mean,
Yeah,
you got in that car pretty much knowing there's a very 50-50 chance you're going to die,
yeah, yeah.
but you're going to do it anyway, you know?
Well, Jackie Stewart, in his one of his documentaries, said that there was a stretch in the late '60s to early '70s where they would lose a driver a weekend. That's a lot of drivers.
Yes.
In either practice or in the race itself.
That's scary, honestly. I
And we
mean,
almost lost Jackie Stewart in his wreck.
yeah,
He got lucky. He
yeah,
got
we
really
got
lucky.
very lucky. But after seeing that documentary, I mean, the respect even nowadays for people to come into the sport and everything. And the last one we lost in Formula One, not Formula Two or anything like that, but Formula One was back in 2014. Forgot his name, but it he was the godfather to now Charles Leclerc. Um, and it was at the Japanese Grand Prix 2014 that he lost his life. Um,
To the Googles.
to the Googles.
Jules Bianchi.
That's it. That's it. Um, he wasn't really an up
And
there
he
top.
wasn't and it was his wreck was kind of odd because they were cleaning off a car from a previous wreck and he just lost control and slid into the crane
Mm,
and hit the crane. It wasn't like he wasn't it was under a yellow flag or and he slid under the crane and it caught him.
yeah.
But Senna was the last one to die in an actual race for F1, and then F2 we lost that kid last year, or the year before.
You're Gassie's friend.
Yeah, yeah. Who most likely would have been in F1 this year?
Yeah.
Hubert.
It's
That
so
was that was just a
so
freak
sad to see
accident.
that.
They're saying the car and everything did exactly what it was supposed to do. Just one part got over the edge and caught him. But even the Indy cars now are extremely safe.
Yeah.
About as safe as you can get for 200 miles an hour.
We could just imagine the wreck that George Russell and Bottas had back in Imola there. They said that Bottas, at the time of impact, he was experiencing what, 6 Gs? No, 30 Gs.
Yeah, 30 G's. Yeah,
30 Gs. Good Lord.
yeah. He wouldn't have survived in the 70s. That would have been a double fatality right
Yeah,
there.
that would have been.
That would have been a double fatality.
Speaking about George Russell, there's an article here on F1.com that Williams is restructuring their top leadership there. There's been a change in leadership in Formula One's most iconic teams since the last time we were on track, with Williams as principal Simon Roberts leaving with intermittent effective and with leaving immediately and effective Capital, who's already CEO, taking over team as principal responsibilities. Technical director for the team will be moving up, uh, be accountable for trackside and engineering operations. Uh, that's just basically reconstructing the team after just losing Simon Roberts. But from the looks like uh, Capito, who's already CEO, is taking even more responsibility for the team. You think that is the right move for right now, or they should have hired an independent team principal?
Uh, I think it's going to be a while before things settle down in Williams, to be honest with you. I'm glad that they're finally getting a car that's a little bit better, but we're 1 year out of buying it out from under the original owners and having them retire. And now we're not even through the first season without the Williams family. We're not even halfway through the season, and they're already moving people around. So I think there's going to be a lot more disruption before things even out. But I think in the end, they're going to get the right people in the right place, and Williams is going to come back to prominence, at least win some races and get some podiums.
Well, they signed several people off season and during the season that had like previous championship racing experience to come onto the team. So, as well as Jensen Button as an advisor, for that matter.
Yeah.
But uh, to your point there, Mike, they're also learning, the F1 strategy, the team, the car, everything. So it may take some time for them to get settled in. It may be into 2022 regulations there where they find their footing.
Yeah, but it's a process, Frank Williams and then his daughter ran that team for the entire life of the team. So now we've got new people coming in. I'm sure all had good intentions, and then you just discover through moving the pieces around which pieces are going to fit where. So, like I said, I think it's going to get a little bit worse, especially with the leadership before it gets better. They definitely have a good driver in George Russell. If Bottas comes back to Williams, which I would love to see, because I would love to see Russell stay, but I know he's on his way to Mercedes anyway. And the Williams is kind of Mercedes' number 2 team.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice to see the Williams name be back on the top of the podium and the constructors. And
I would like that too. I want to see that so bad for Williams. And Mike, you and I talked about this here on the show and off the show. That the iconic name. I mean, it goes down with Ferrari as far as an iconic F1 team.
Well, McLaren, Williams, Ferrari.
But
I just think about the ones that didn't make it. The Brabhams and Jackie Stewart had a team for a while. Alain Prost had a team for a while. Prost Racing had an F1 team for a while. I mean, these are all they all came and went, and Williams is still here.
And that's one thing I would love to see too. Is some of these teams, I would love to see Jordan back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the iconic colors,
Yeah.
on that modern car with the classic colors. It's just very similar to what McLaren had at Monaco.
Which I think they should have kept.
Me too. Honestly, they should have kept that. But
even Williams had a little throwback color scheme this year.
Yes,
it's blue and gold.
In fact, during the Monaco race, I don't know if you saw it. They had in the back part of it, they had the 750 as far as their 750th Grand Prix.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But also, Chaz and I talked about this last week about George Russell, about how much Williams is trying their best to keep him, and high demand for him to go elsewhere as well. But
if you want to keep him, put a car under him. That's the bottom line. George Russell is that good. He is a championship race car driver.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in. He wants to go to a team that's going to put a car under him. And right now, Mercedes is that team. Mercedes or Red Bull, one of the two. Those are the two teams. If you are a driver and you want to have a shot at winning the drivers' championship, there's only 2 teams right now that will even give you a shot, and that's Mercedes and Red Bull. Williams is at the back of the pack, and it's not because of Russell's ability. It's because their car just is not fast enough.
Right.
And
Well, I said this last week, is the only reason why Russell would stay with Williams, in my opinion, because we had an overwhelming variety of people that said, like 87% said Russell will not be with Williams next season. But the only reason why I would say that is because you had, uh, let's say, for instance, but both you and I believe Lewis Hamilton will retire at the end of this year.
Mhm.
But let's say he comes back for another year. Bottas is also in that second seat. So the only reason why George Russell will stay is like, I want that Mercedes seat. So yes, I'll stay another year with Williams, hoping to get that extra seat in Mercedes for 2023 or something like that. That's the only reason why I would say
Yeah,
Russell would stay with Williams another year.
yeah.
If someone like McLaren would come along, get rid of probably Ricardo, and have Russell move into that seat.
I
Russell
don't
will
think I don't think he would go to McLaren though,
really,
because no, Russell wants to win the drivers' championship.
yeah.
I mean, he might, but McLaren's not. He's getting closer too, but I don't think they're in a position.
Well, we talked about this too the other last week or the week
They're
before.
what? They're third in constructors right now, right?
Fourth,
Fourth behind Ferrari.
right, just by two though.
Yeah.
McLaren did sell their facility, iconic facility in England, to
Mhm.
a leasing group out of New York City, and they got about $280 million in cash for that. So that's what they want to use towards R&D, to the new engine, to everything.
So they're staying in the building.
They're staying in the building. In fact, that
They're
company
just
is leasing it
leasing it
back
to somebody now.
to them, but they got a whole hunk of cash to play with now. So we'll see about that. Now for the fun part, we go ahead and preview the French Grand Prix on the circuit. Finally going back to the circuit, which I said this last week with Chaz there, Mike, that going from the street circuits to this European stretch on the actual circuits, I think this will benefit Mercedes more.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but we'll see. In fact, let's go into this right quick with the circuit of Paul Ricard. It was actually the first Grand Prix was held in '71. It has 15 laps to it. The total number of laps they have is 53. The circuit itself is 5.8 kilometers, which is probably one of the longest on the circuit right now, on the
Yeah,
calendar
it
right
is.
now.
Very long.
Race distance is, yeah, race distance is 309 kilometers, and the lap record is a minute and 32, and that's held by Sebastian Vettel in 2019. This circuit of Paul Ricard only came back in 2018, though. And 2018 and 2019 were both won by Lewis Hamilton. In 2018, he won by 7 seconds over Max Verstappen. And 2019, he won over his teammate Valtteri Bottas by 18 seconds. So going into this European stretch, I think Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, I think Max and Red Bull will give him a race, but I think this is going to be Lewis's time to shine, in my opinion.
I'm going to go ahead and hang my hat on Max Verstappen.
Ooh. Okay.
I think he's pissed. I think, and when he's pissed, he drives the best. His car is definitely up to task. Where the Mercedes cars have been kind of suspect the last couple of races, and I want to say it's going to be Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton.
Mm. And what about your extra prediction there?
Uh, I'm gonna stick with George Russell in Q3. I think he's gonna make it this time. It's a wide open course. His cars always run good in the beginning. I think he's going to make it into Q3. And the over and under on Maspin getting lapped will be what do you want to set it at?
Well, it's 53 laps. It said before, we talked about this off air. The only reason I knew about that is because the commentators said about lap 21, 22, we think Mazepin got lapped. So, I'll see what I can do on this go around now, though.
You know what would be cool? Let's do this.
I'll tell you what. Let's
do this. How about whatever lap he got lapped at, and the previous race is the over under mark.
21.
Let me look it up here.
Well, while you do that, I'll give my picks right quick. I have Lewis Hamilton, Max coming in second as well. I have a statement right here. I think Lando Norris will make it in that third spot. He seems like every other race he's going on that podium, so that's what I would say. Lando Norris is number 3. And for my extra prediction, I was going to say Sergio will finish higher than Bottas, which I think he's still going to do, but since this is the French Grand Prix, I'm going to say both Alpines will finish in points. So we'll see about that. And now, Mike, I have Chaz's podium here, and I think you have his extra prediction. He has Lewis Hamilton, Max coming in second, and Bottas coming in third. I know you want to go wild and crazy with that pick.
Well, I got the text from Chaz, and I hope everything's okay. And definitely in my thoughts, and we miss him. But I'm going to go ahead and say that. Oh man, it's got to be something cool. He's a Ferrari guy, isn't he?
Oh, Mercedes guy.
Oh, he's a Mercedes guy.
He hates Ferrari. Uh-oh, I see the wheels turning.
Oh, man. Because I don't see Charles Leclerc doing anything as far as leading the race. I was going to say that Charles Leclerc will be ahead of Hamilton at least 2 laps. Yeah, let's go with that.
Wow.
He'll be in front of Hamilton for at least 2 laps in this race. Doesn't matter what position. He could be in 5th, and Hamilton could have had a bad pit stop and came out in 9th. Doesn't matter.
Will lead the race or will lead just Lewis Hamilton?
Well, just be in front of Hamilton for 2 laps.
Well, okay.
It doesn't tell you what.
Yeah, said before, the only reason I knew about it is because the commentators make like a mention that's like we think that Mazepin got lapped, and it's around 21, 22 there. How about this? Can we do something with the team radio over and under?
Like what?
I don't know. Over under that Yuki will curse on the radio or something like that.
Oh, did you hear? He told his team, he says, "Shut up, I know." That was awesome.
Oh man, I want to play that so bad. I know. Shut up. Man, that's what I like him, man. He doesn't take any bull crap. But
no, he doesn't. He's a tough kid. Yeah. He's a tough kid. You know, Matt. Oh my God, I'm searching for this, I'm searching for this. When did Mazepin get lapped? And I pulled up a website. This is whendidmazepinspin.com.
Hold on, I'm gonna go to that right quick. Hold on.
Mazepin, he spun on lap 24 of the Baku GP, causing a yellow flag.
Well, I gave you 3 extra points then. What's the website again? When Mazepin?
When did Mazepin spin.com? Oh, that poor kid, man. Oh, my God.
And you have this head turning right now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So, okay, now we got.
Well, it says here lap 24. So it was under.
We got. He spun on lap 24.
I'll try to pay attention this race when the leaders get up on the back markers because they make a big deal out of it, and it's usually Mazepin and Latifi or.
Yeah, remember the blue flag, blue flag.
When did MazepinSpin.com? Unbelievable.
I love that. Which leads us to our Twitter question of the week. Will any other races be canceled this season? Last week we discussed that the Singapore Grand Prix was canceled. So you guys said that 87% of you said that there will be another race canceled this season, and some of you replied that it may be Brazil, maybe even Australia that might be taken off the calendar.
Yeah.
There's also rumored, though, we talked about this last week about Singapore Grand Prix, that Malaysia might make a comeback.
It would be a good race.
I would love to see that. But also, Mike, there's you won't like this, that the stuff around the rumor mill right now, they might move up Japan a week and have 2 races here in the United States, either both at COTA or one at COTA and one at the circuit part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And we're getting press passes, right?
So this is out on the internet. So whoever's in charge of press passes at COTA, we need help. No,
that would be way cool.
But what do you think there, Mike? Any other races you see possibly being canceled this season?
Yeah, I hope not. But those are the ones that you listed off make the most sense because of the, some folks are still using this pandemic as a political leverage, and a lot of those countries, that's kind of where they're at politically. So It's unfortunate because for everyone that's watching this, we're from Texas, and I'll tell you right now, Texas is back to business as usual. There's nobody's going to the hospital. Some people wear masks, some people don't. No one's really bugging about it. People are getting vaccinated, some people aren't. No one cares. We're just, 6th Street was packed during the biker rally.
Well, I would say Brazil, not for COVID though. There's some political unrest going on right now in the streets, some protesting.
Yeah.
Their president right now, so we'll see about that. So, granted, it's in Rio, but the race is in a different city. But still, nonetheless, they might not take that.
That's still some. Well, that's a lot of resources that go into hosting an F1 with security and hotel space and all that kind of stuff. And if you've got that kind of stuff going on, it's going to be harder.
Yeah. So I would say Brazil definitely will be the one. Unfortunately, that's one I want to see though. I want to see back. I want to see Canada.
They have a nice track in Brazil. That's a fun track.
That's a very fun track. In fact, last night I played it on my cell phone here on the F1 app there. I love that track. Very hard track, though.
Yeah, it's challenging, but there's good places to overtake, and it's It's not too fast, but it's not necessarily slow. It's got a lot of action. You can have a lot of action on that track.
Speaking about the Twitter, we have a new Twitter poll out right now. There's a key on this. Which driver will be forced to leave their team first? I have Bottas, Ricardo, Perez, and Sainz on there.
Really, you think Perez?
I just throw it in there because we needed 4. Hey, it's a long season. You never know.
Hold on. You did not put Mazepin in there anywhere.
Oh God. I did not put
I'd say
Mazepin.
swap out Perez and Mazepin because I think they're going to give up on. Yeah, but his daddy's funding everything.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't put him on there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I didn't put Nicholas Latifi on there either because his father's Williams right now. In fact, at the time of this recording, actually Perez got some votes here on Twitter. Not many. I mean, number 1 is Bottas.
That would be too bad if Perez left Red Bull because I think he's in a good spot. I think him and he obviously understands his role in things.
Yeah,
which is good, and he's a team player.
So you have Max, Sergio, and Lewis. That's your top podium right there, Mike.
Yep. I think Max is going to win it.
Well, I hope you're right.
How far ahead is Chaz?
Not far. I'm still way in the back.
It's like 4 points, right?
5. 207 to 202 that he leads.
Okay.
I'm still at 144. Oh, but I love it. I love this game.
That's all right, man. You can be our back marker.
I'm Mazepin right now. Just crash it out.
should have a Twitter poll. How far back will Brock end the season? We'll be over or under 250 points.
Oh, well, they'll be under. They'll be under. We'll catch up on that.
Yeah. Oh, it's all in fun.
In fact, that could be the over-under this week for us. Will I make up points this weekend with you guys? Break 200. I'm at 144.
Who'd you have? Hamilton?
I have Hamilton, Max, and Lando, and I said that the French Grand Prix. I'm sorry, at the French Grand Prix, both Alpines will finish in points.
Got it.
So there's a shot.
Yeah, those are good picks.
So yeah, let's do that over under on that right quick.
So we had it at 24. Let's just agree that he got lapped when he spun out. That sound about right?
Well, close to it.
So let's do this. Whatever lap, and I'll pay attention this week. I'll pay attention. Whatever lap he actually gets lapped, that will be the lap over and under standard for the next week.
Okay.
That makes sense?
That makes sense.
So last week it was what, 35?
Last week was 35.
So this week it'll be 24.
Okay. So I would say I'll go with you because it's back on a circuit. He doesn't do well on circuits for some strange reason. I would say under.
I'm gonna put him under too.
We'll put Chaz over. So we'll see about that. And we have to have some differency here. You know, we can't be all under.
Yeah. I mean, I know he had a really good reason for not being here tonight, and again, I hope everything is okay. But that's what you get for missing out. You guys cut me no slack when I couldn't make it. Well, I'm excited. This is going to be a good stretch here. I went back and watched the race the other day, and I could just relax and watch the whole race. And I was looking for something funny that the announcers or somebody said, and what I got stuck on was what's his name is yelling, barking back at his. It's like, I know, shut up. That was it. That's all I had.
Well, hold on for 1 second. Let me see. Um, I don't know if I can pull it up here or not, but give me 1 second here. I might be able to. It's going to take a while to load here, but I had like the best top 10 onboards in Azerbaijan, basically, best of the radio. So I was looking for Yuki Tsunoda's response. It's like, I know, shut up.
Okay, so I was wrong. Yeah, no, I was right. Fangio won it 5 times.
Okay.
Schumacher won it 7. Seb won it 4 times. Nico won it in 2016. That's when he was racing against Hamilton. That was a great battle. That was.
I love that year.
That was. They have a YouTube video called Battle of the Silver Arrows between those two guys. Yeah, so Schumacher and Hamilton have 7. Fangio's got 5. Alain Prost and Vettel have 4. Jack Brabham, Jackie Stewart, Niki Lauda, Nelson Piquet, and Ayrton Senna have 3. Graham Hill and Jim Clark, 2, along with Emerson Fittipaldi, and Fernando Alonso has 2. Kimi Räikkönen's got 1.
Yeah. I think it was 2007.
2007. I love him.
Now, he's great on the radio.
At this point, he just doesn't give a crap, man. He's just having so much fun. You know what I'm saying? He's the oldest guy out there.
I love it. What was it during the Imola Grand Prix whenever the George Russell and Bottas wrecked out? He was right behind him.
Yeah.
When it happened. And his team came on the radio and said, there's debris on the road, there's debris on the road. He said, I know, I just went through it. And his manager kept on saying, there's debris on the road, just look out for it. It's like, I know. Don't you understand? I know.
I'm already half a lap ahead of it.
Exactly.
He's great.
Oh, he's fantastic. That's what we look for the best of the radio this time around.
Yeah.
But right now, we'll bid you guys adieu. Hope you have fun this go around. Please visit our Twitter page as well as our Facebook at Form a Race, and make sure to check out the new Twitter poll. Will any drivers be forced to to leave their team this year? Make sure you vote on that, as well as give us a topic you'd like for us to discuss here or on our new show, the What If series, theformulracing@gmail.com, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay informed. Give us a comment down below as well. So in the meantime, I think that's all we have, and we'll see you next time right here on the F1 Starting Grid.